There is one massive lie that is told to people over the age of 50 that keeps them weak and immobile and unable to take part in their favourite hobbies. And in today's video, I'm going to reveal what that lie is, why it isn't true, and what to do instead. If you don't know who I am, my name is Harlow and I'm the Over-Fifties specialist physio here at HT Physio in Farnham. And it's my job to keep people like you active and mobile and independent and strong and ready to take part in your favourite hobbies. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. One of the biggest lies told to people over age 50 is you can't gain strength. Now, I know why this lie has been perpetuated so much. And the reason is because it's difficult to gain muscle over 50, which means that most people have equated that with it being almost impossible to gain strength as well. However, let me tell you one fact that might just change your life. Muscle and strength are not the same thing. Even though they do have correlations together, they aren't one and the same. And someone with not very much muscle can still have good strength, and the reverse is also true. You might be thinking, well, how can this be the case? I thought that the big strong guys, or the big guys, are the ones that are the strong guys as well, and the skinny guys are also the weak ones. And sometimes that is true, but there are a couple other factors at play that we need to consider. Now, first of all, let's talk about, as we get over 50, what happens to our muscles. We do start to lose muscle tissue. Sarcopenia sets in quite early, probably after about age 40 for most people. It starts to gather some pace. The muscle tissue in our body becomes poorer quality. We also lose some of the hormones responsible for helping us to gain muscle, and that makes it difficult to gain significant muscle tissue. It's still possible, by the way, it's just hard. And that makes people think, well, if I can't gain muscle, then I can't gain strength, so what's the point? But there is another thing other than muscle that is responsible for your strength, and that thing is your neural pathways. Now, your neural pathways basically a fancy term to describe the connection between your brain, your nerves, and your muscles. So when the brain tells your muscles to move, it sends a signal down the nerves that reaches the muscle, and it will activate somewhere between 0% and 100% of the muscle fibers. You might have heard of the term mind-muscle connection, and having a good mind-muscle connection means we can tap into near 100% of the fibers of that particular muscle. And if you have a poor mind-muscle connection, you might only be able to tap into 40 or 50% of those fibers, even if you're really pushing it. This means that even if you've got big muscles, if you can only tap into 40% of them, you're still going to have a weak contraction because you're not using all of the available muscle tissue to help you with that contraction. And if you've got smaller muscles, but you can tap into 100% of them, you're probably going to have quite a strong contraction as well. So strength and muscle mass, even though they're correlated, are not quite the same thing. And I learned this the hard way in my first year of university. So I was 18 years old, I went to university and I was meeting my classmates. I was speaking to a skinny guy. He was probably like 150 pounds. He didn't have much muscle on him. He was pretty short. And I said to him, oh, what do you do for a sport? And he says, oh, I'm a power lifter. And I had to try pretty hard not to let my eyebrows raise up when he told me this. And I said, oh, okay, fair enough, man. Like, it'd be good to maybe see you in the gym sometime. And a few days later, I did see him in the gym. And he absolutely humbled me. He had something like 350 pounds on his back in a squat, and he was going down and back up again like he had nothing at all on his back. He was making it look easy. And the reason he was able to do that, even though he didn't have much muscle mass, is because he had such a strong neural connection, such a strong neural network, that he was able to tap into that strength without having loads of muscle. And in fact, for him, he didn't want lots of muscle because muscle weighs quite a lot. And if he gains a lot of muscle, then he has to go up a weight class, which means everyone's stronger, which means he has to get even stronger. So he wants to be small and skinny, but very strong at the same time. So he was perfect for his sport. Now, why is this relevant to you? Well, it's relevant to you because I see a lot of people over 50, maybe in their 70s and their 80s, and they have a decent muscle mass in their legs or their arms, but when I ask them to activate their muscle, they can barely use it. It's like they've got no muscle there at all. And it's not because they don't have tissue there, they've got muscle tissue, they just can't tap into it well. So many of the programs that I share on my channel here are designed not necessarily to help you build bigger muscles, but to help you build stronger neural networks. And if you practice contracting a muscle over and over again, even if it's just against gravity, you'll increase that neural connection, and that will help you get stronger as a result. So an equation I want you to consider here is this. Muscle is still important, so muscle mass is definitely an important part of our equation, but that's combined with neural pathways, and those two together will equate to your strength. So even if you've noticed you're losing muscle mass, you don't have the same tissue, and you feel weak as a result, focus on maintaining and building your neural pathways. So focus on getting that mind-muscle connection, really paying attention to that muscle as it contracts, and you will build strength as a result. Now, as a side note, if you are interested in gaining just muscle mass and you're not that bothered about strength, you just want more muscle so you look better and feel better, which is a very valid goal, by the way, it is still possible to gain muscle over 50. In fact, there was a study done. They took people over the age of 70, they trained them for 10 weeks, so not that long. They made them do 3 sessions in the gym every week, controlled sessions with help from an experimenter. And at the end of that 10-week resistance training program, they had gained 3 pounds of muscle on average. They had lost 4 pounds of fat on average, and they had increased their resting metabolic rate by 7%, which means they burned 7% more calories by just being alive. So it is absolutely still possible to build muscle, just as a side note, but if you want to build strength, typically that can happen even quicker. So sometimes I'll get people in the clinic, they're very weak because maybe they've had an injury or pain, they've got almost no neural pathway. We will help them to activate those muscles better, and in the space of 1 or 2 weeks, literally 1 or 2 weeks, that's all it takes, they're strong again, they can contract that muscle, the pain has gone down, and they're moving much better as a result. So don't get demotivated just because you feel your muscle mass slipping. You can still gain strength. Sometimes it's even quicker to gain strength than it is to gain muscle. It's all about practicing movements over and over again. And hopefully that's giving you a reframe as to what we need to think about when we're trying to build strength. It's all about those neural pathways as well as muscle mass. Give that a try and hopefully it helps. As a side note, if you're interested in building these stronger neural pathways, I have many chapters in my book that will show you exercises to help you do just that. You can find it on Amazon by searching Thriving Beyond 50 or using the link in the description below to grab your copy and learn some of the best exercises to do just that. So that's the biggest lie told to people over the age of 50. I hope you'll agree that this is something more people need to know about. And if you do, please consider sharing this video with your friends or family who you feel would benefit as well. Thank you so much if you do that. That's the way this channel grows. It's completely organic. So please share it with a friend or family member if you feel they'll benefit. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Do leave a comment below if you've liked this video. And if you want to get more from me, you can pick up a copy of my book. It's called Thriving Beyond 50 and you can find it on Amazon using the link below. It's got loads more advice and exercises from me like the stuff you found today. Anyway, thank you for watching. I appreciate your time and I'll speak to you again on the next video.